This is Optimal Relationships Daily, episode 1462. 4 Ways Minimalism Can Improve Parenting by Mike Burns of BecomingMinimalist.com. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another parenting edition of ORD with me, your host and narrator, Greg Audino. Happy Friday, folks. So glad to have you here. Now, this time I'll be reading to you from Becoming Minimalist, which is a site that we haven't read from in a while, though it is featured more frequently elsewhere in the network, particularly on Optimal Living Daily, the show that started it all. So give that show a listen if you do like minimalism content. But today, enjoy this post on how minimalism can improve your parenting as we jump into this post now and start optimizing your life. 4 Ways Minimalism Can Improve Parenting by Mike Burns of BecomingMinimalist.com. For a number of years, my family has been pursuing a life of more focused simplicity. We realize life can be complicated, but we don't want to just surrender to the complication. This is why minimalism has been so attractive to us. On my blog, I document how minimalism has caused us to do all sorts of unique things together, like value and maintain clutter-free spaces, get rid of 75% of our toys and games. It's okay, the kids survived and they're still smiling. Cut our wardrobe by more than 50%, eliminate paper clutter, whittle my collection of hundreds of books down to 18, and keep only what would fit in a 6x12 trailer when we moved our family of 8 across the country. These examples display how minimalism affects our physical stuff. But minimalism is about eliminating the unnecessary in order to focus on the most important, and it is a mindset that works its way into all areas of our lives, including our parenting. Recently, I've been discovering how minimalism has made us better parents, and how it can improve your approach to parenting as well. So here are 4 ways that stand out. Number 1, it causes you to take your parenting role more seriously. If you're like me, you consistently read material from people who value simplicity and minimalism. This steady diet of inspiration reminds us to prioritize and focus in the everyday moments. As parents, when we weigh the various activities and passions of our lives, our families will likely rise to the top. It's a huge responsibility, and we should take it very seriously. Number 2, it reminds you to guard the calendar and say no to a lot of things. Parents sometimes feel that we have to take our kids to every activity and enroll them in every sport. But in case you've forgotten, you can't do everything. We have to learn to say no to many good things so that we can say yes to the things that are more important to us at the time. Manage your calendar well. You are the gatekeeper. Number 3, you begin to choose your battles more carefully. When I say battle, I don't mean to imply heated conflict. I'm referring to the issues that we make a big deal over as parents. I'm referring to those times when we have to decide if we're going to force our preferences about friends, clothing, music, movies, activities, language, and other things onto our kids. Minimalists acknowledge that options are unlimited, but capacity is not. We have to choose what we give our time and energy to. In our effort to help our kids transition from dependent to independent, we have to learn to let go in appropriate areas. There are times to stand our ground, and other times when it's not worth it. If everything is a big deal, then nothing is a big deal. We have to decide which things are most important in our relationships with our kids and let those drive our decisions. The secondary clutter issues can be very distracting and may cost us more than they're worth. Number 4, you become more focused in what you teach your children. Truth is truth, right? But don't let that deceive you. All truth is not equally important. It is possible for me to pursue accurate information all my life and not find happiness and purpose. There are some things in life that are absolutely essential for my kids to learn above all else. I have to make sure that I focus my guidance on those things and help them to stand out amidst all the information that comes their way as they develop. I have to get clear on the answer to this question. If my children only remember 1 or 2 things about what I teach them in their years at home, what do I want them to be? Then emphasize those things in all that I say and do. There are certainly other ways that minimalism can affect your parenting, but these 4 stand out to me as the most significant. For those of us who have children in our home, there's no denying that this is one of the greatest opportunities of our lives. And as parents, we must do the hard work of eliminating the clutter that will hinder us from our super important task. So let's do it. You just listened to the post titled, 4 Ways Minimalism Can Improve Parenting by Mike Burns of BecomingMinimalist.com. And a big thank you to Mike Burns and the folks at Becoming Minimalist for this one. I really enjoyed this post, and I absolutely see the line he's drawing between parenting and minimalism. And I think so much of the value here does boil down to that question that he offered towards the end. If my children only remember 1 or 2 things about what I teach them in their years at home, what do I want them to be? This is something I really encourage you to sit with as parents. It's not only going to help you be more driven in your schedule, but also in your own values and your values as a family. Not to mention the fact that your messaging is much more likely to be consistent and free of contradiction. So sit and reflect on not just the types of kids you want to raise, but what impact those kids will have on the world. Do you feel environmentalism is important and you really want to help them appreciate nature and how to sustain it? Maybe mental health is something that you want to instill at a young age, and you might focus a little extra on teaching your kids about compassion and grit and self-love. Surely we don't want to be so formulaic in our approach, but choosing our North Stars like this can be really influential for both our children and ourselves. Okay, everyone, so some things to think about. It's time for me to get out of here, though, and wrap up another episode. I really appreciate you being here, as always, and I hope that you had some good takeaways today. Aside from that, have a great rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow for another post where your optimal life awaits.